All right, let's talk about something we all deal with, maybe every single day, that powerful, almost magnetic pull between sugar and our brains.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? Why is it so incredibly hard to say no to that second cookie? You know the feeling. You've had a long day, you just finished dinner, and suddenly there's this little voice in your head going, just one more bite. What is that all about?
Just thinking about it now, warm, gooey cookies coming right out of the oven, a rich, velvety piece of cake, those crunchy sweet candies, or, hey, a waffle cone just piled high with ice cream. Are you getting hungry yet? Because that feeling right there is exactly what we're going to unpack. So, to really get to the bottom of this unstoppable craving, we got to start with the basics. What even is sugar, and where is it hiding? Okay, first things first, when we say sugar, we're not just talking about one single thing. It's actually a pretty broad term for a whole class of molecules known as carbohydrates. And believe me, they come in a lot of different disguises. For example, you've probably seen glucose on an ingredients list.
Or fructose, which is a type of sugar you find in fruit.
Or sucrose, which is really just your everyday table sugar.
And then there's dextrose, and we haven't even mentioned high fructose corn syrup, honey. The list of names sugar goes by is just huge. Now here's where it gets a little sneaky. Sugar isn't just in the obvious stuff like desserts. It's hiding in plain sight in foods you might never suspect. We're talking tomato sauce, yogurt, dried fruit, even those supposedly healthy granola bars and some flavored waters. It's kind of everywhere. Okay, so you've just taken a bite of something sweet. What happens in that split second? Well, let's follow that signal on its lightning-fast trip from your tongue all the way up into your brain. It's this incredible, super-fast chain reaction. First, the sweet taste receptors on your tongue light up. They shoot a signal down to your brainstem. From there, the signal splits and travels into a few different areas of your forebrain. And then, here it is, the grand finale. It slams right into your brain's reward system. In this reward system, this is the absolute key to the whole mystery. Think of it as a powerful network inside your brain whose entire job is to answer one simple, subconscious question. Hey, should we do that again? You know that amazing, warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you taste something absolutely delicious? Yeah, that's your reward system lighting up like a pinball machine and basically screaming, yes, definitely do that again as soon as possible. Now, the fuel for this whole operation is a chemical called dopamine. It's a neurotransmitter, which is just a fancy word for a chemical messenger. When your brain likes something, it releases a flood of dopamine, which makes you feel pleasure and reinforces that behavior. And what's wild is that this isn't just about food. It's the exact same powerful system that gets activated when we're socializing with friends, during sexual activity, and on a more extreme level, it's the very same system that's hijacked by drugs like alcohol, nicotine, and heroin. It's fundamental to how we operate. So if all these different things can set off our reward system, what's the big deal about sugar? Why is it so special? Well, this is where we finally crack the case. Let's compare two things. On one hand, you have a normal, balanced meal. When you're hungry and you eat it, you get a nice little dopamine spike. Great. But if you eat that same meal again and again, that response gets weaker. Your brain gets kind of bored. Now, look at a sugary meal. You get a big dopamine spike. But the crazy thing is, when you have it again, that response doesn't get weaker. It stays just as rewarding. And this chart just lays it all out. You can see how, over time, the dopamine hit from a balanced meal drops off. But for the sugary meal, it stays way, way up there. Your brain just doesn't seem to get tired of it in the same way. And you know, there's a really good evolutionary reason for this. Our brains are actually designed to get bored of the same food. It's a survival instinct. It pushes us to seek out a variety of different nutrients and helps us notice if a food has gone bad. It's a pretty smart system. But sugar seems to be the exception. It kind of finds a loophole in that ancient programming. And when you keep activating the reward system with something that never gets old, well, you start to kick off a pretty powerful domino effect. To put it simply, because that rewarding feeling from sugar doesn't fade, our brain just keeps wanting it. It starts to behave less like regular food and, honestly, a little bit more like a drug, constantly hitting that do it again button. And constantly overactivating this system can lead to a whole cycle, right? You might start to experience a loss of control, eating more than you planned. You get intense cravings when you don't have it. And you can even build up a tolerance, which means you need more and more sugar to get that same good feeling.
So, let's put this all together. What's the big takeaway? Well, the science shows that yes, eating way too much sugar can have genuinely addictive effects on your brain. But, and this is a really big but, it's all about moderation. A piece of cake every once in a while is not going to completely rewire your brain. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know exactly what's going on up there, that big dopamine surge, that reward system getting hijacked, what will you do the next time that craving strikes?